There is so much cash floating around thanks to central banks. The market is obviously seeing the benefits of this. As the dollar declines in real value, the stock market increases nominally. The second most important reason why the stock market has risen is because of the absolutely massive levels of stock buybacks that are taking place. But what happens if the Fed stops printing? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at stock buybacks. I want to look at Argentina and so much more. Let's begin. The companies that spent the most money on buybacks in the first quarter of 2018, and you will see leading the charge, is Apple. I covered that here on the channel before, but you will see other familiar names. You have Microsoft on here, of course. You have a few banking institutions on here and others. Okay, so we see that the buybacks are taking place not just in the tech sector, not just in the financials, but basically all around. Okay, these companies are flush with cash. They have found a way to be able to continue this cycle. Number one, central banks printing money, buying up shares. Number two, stock buybacks. These are the two primary reasons why stocks have been increasing. Now, Harvard, they have been buying stocks. And lo and behold, Apple is at the top of their list. Massive, massive quantities of Apple, Microsoft, and Alphabet. They are buying stocks like crazy, and it doesn't surprise me to see that, in this case, Harvard Management Company has actually bought the big names, the one that everyone else is buying. They all do the same things. They all act the same, and that's great on the way up and extremely terrible on the way down. You can see the actual SEC form here. The only issue with this is that it's messy, it's hard to get to, it's hard to access. You don't know what you're looking at half the time. But this is the actual SEC form. That's why I think a lot of people are uneducated about this when I see a lot of criticism of my work on here. But it's here. It's for you. You can see it for yourself. SEC.gov. This is what you'll type in. SEC 13F. That's 13F. And then the name of the company or institution or what have you. That name. So you go to a search engine, type that in, and you will get the results you want. But again, look at it. It's hard to see, but I'll try and show you some quick points from here. You'll see the big names: Alphabet, Apple, and Microsoft at the bottom over here. You can see how much they actually own, how many shares, and everything else. Okay. Or you can go to two websites I've mentioned 100 times before: Whale Wisdom or Holdings Channel. Okay. These are two websites I use all the time, and you can see it in a much more organized fashion. So they get the reports from the SEC, the 13Fs, and they put them into their website, and they have a much easier way to look it up. You can search through and everything else. Okay. Now, I thought this was very important. Sears, you know what's happening to them. They're going to be extinct pretty soon. Well, look at this. Sears Holdings announces initiation of formal process to explore potential sale of assets. They're selling off their assets. And they go into the details, but I'm not going to cover that for you. What I wanted to note was that whenever there are financial troubles, and that's a country, a company, or a person, they all tend to do what they have to in a crisis. They sell off their assets. Remember, this is so critical to understand. We are encountering times in which there's more and more and more of a debt burden. Our countries will sell off assets to the technocratic elite. to the so-called elite. And they will get it for pennies on the dollar. Okay, I'm going to cover, just go through these really quickly. The Argentine peso continues its free fall. I have heard from so many people from Argentina telling me that they are very much worried about what's happening today, and I don't blame them. They see what's happening in other countries. They know what's happened in their own country. And this is worrisome because despite the central bank, the government coming out and just, trying to do everything they can, selling off their reserves, trying to, push up their currency, nothing. It's doing nothing to fix the problem. Look at the CDS. For those who don't know, CDS is the credit default swap, okay? It's like insurance. It instantly became very, very dangerous in Argentina, according to the credit default swap. The same thing happened, and this, many believe that was the catalyst to Greece's failure. Credit default swaps. And right now, they just went from the level of around, let's say, 100 to over 300. Tripling basically instantly. Okay, very quickly, they call it green fever. As the peso loses value against the dollar, Argentines panic. Suddenly, everyone is an economist tracking the exchange rate like the score in a World Cup match. In some ways, that angst is understandable, as vivid memories of economic chaos have left the impression that Argentina is forever on the verge of collapse. In good times, the sentiment merely stunts growth by discouraging investment, but in moments of financial stress, Argentina's reputation deprives its leadership of an indispensable resource, the benefit of the doubt. The rush to the exits reinforces the doubts, raising borrowing costs and bludgeoning the peso. That's what's happening today, and this is what I'm worried about, and this is what many others are worried about as well. Okay, you can see that they're selling off the reserves, trying to stabilize the currency, and it's having absolutely no effect. And then we turn over to this. I can't even read it to you. I don't want to read it to you. It's, if you've talked to anybody who's ever had to flee, and I mean real fleeing, not their moving cities because of high taxation. It's, you feel for the person. You really do sympathize. Or at least I do anyway. Well, a lot of people have been fleeing Venezuela. They're going to Colombia. They're going to basically anywhere. They're going to Brazil. They're going to Trinidad and Tobago. They're going all over the place. And these people are saying, they're afraid to go back. I don't want to go. I can't. Done. I'm done. I'm not going back. So they're facing the music. And it's unfortunate what's happening. That I'll end it there. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it helps to support this channel. So I do appreciate that very much. Now, last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know that you will find my books, The Money GPS, and my newer release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can actually flip through these books. All you got to do is go over to Amazon. There's a look inside feature. It's going to allow you to flip through the pages of these books to see if you like them. Take care.